So I had told them, look, I'm never going to miss a play. I'm never going to miss a game. I'm never going to miss a field trip. I'm not going to do that. Like, I'm going to schedule my time. And real estate's amazing for that. You know, you can do that.
I'm here today with Dena Hodnett from our St. Paul Crocus Hill office. Dena has been with RE/MAX Results for 22 years.
Yep.
Primarily, you have been most recently a part of the management team helping to run the Barker Hedges group. Mm-hmm. In our formerly Eagan location, you guys have relocated to Crocus Hill recently.
Yep.
Today, what we're going to talk about is how Dena, her next chapter, 2025, is taking over the Barker Hedges group, now called Barker Hedges Evolution. I'm super excited to talk about that.
Good.
But before we go there, we got to get your backstory. So what were you doing before real estate?
Grew up in the northern suburbs, did the normal, you know.
Where?
I was a Forest Lake girl.
Forest Lake?
I was a
Okay.
Ranger. Yep.
All right. Mm-hmm. See, when you say northern suburbs, I'd say like White Bear Lake. Okay,
I mean,
so
that's
a little bit, yeah.
the neighbor
Forest
to
Lake.
Forest Lake.
You
yes.
Okay, cool.
And then I went to community college after that.
Yep.
And it used to be, this is how old I am, dating myself. It used to be Lakewood, not
Century.
Century, yeah. So I could have just said Century.
We all
just
know.
then, yeah.
We know, yeah.
And then, I actually didn't finish college. Like, school wasn't my jam. That was never something I was like, yes, extra schooling. The people that are like, if I won the lottery, I would just go back to school. I would, no, absolutely not. You know, like, that wasn't my thing. But, and I was actually, I will say this, I was actually really self-conscious about that all throughout my career until I heard a couple of podcasts and discovered that you.
Me too. I was just going to say, I'm a college dropout.
Oh, well, hello. You know, if the head honcho of our company is comfortable saying that, I should just learn to be comfortable with it too. Yes. Obviously, because there's different levels of education.
But what were you studying? Like, did you have a career in mind back then?
No, I just always was working.
Yeah.
I mean, I had 3 jobs all the time, you know, starting from 14. I had, and every job that I got was kind of like somebody asking me to come work for them. So, you know, it was like I was a receptionist here, and it was like, oh, come be a hostess for me at Perkins, and, you know, and just random stuff that I would do. But
something that you probably wouldn't have considered until you got the invitation.
I mean, so I knew I was a, you know, kind of a hustler, and I just, you know,
I get it. Yeah.
Knew that I would be doing something.
Yeah.
But I didn't have anything in mind in particular.
And then you crossed paths with Matt Barker, Brandon Hedges.
Yeah.
One day. How did that happen?
I was a sales rep for Columbia Sportswear for several years. I did that from 21 on up for a while. And then I met my then husband, and who was friends with Butch Zielinski. Butch actually was our agent on our first house.
Cool.
And after I'd worked for Columbia Sportswear for a while, I wanted to have a baby. I was like, this is what I want. I'm going to be a mom. This is focused. And I was one of those people that thought you could schedule it, you know? So I was like, well, I will be pregnant at this time. And,
it's possible. I scheduled both of my babies.
Oh, it's so great. Mine did not happen that way. Mine was 2 years later. But Butch was really good. He was, you know, in his Butch voice, you know, you should be in real estate. This is what you should do. And
yes.
I met with Sydney Vadness.
Yes.
20 some years ago. And she said, and I said, I don't want to be an agent. I'm going to have a baby, so I want to do this office kind of thing. And she's like, I don't really see that with you.
Oh my gosh.
I know.
She did the same thing with me. She has a knack. Okay. She did the same thing with me.
And so she placed me in a team, you know, kind of doing marketing and things like that. And I met the baby-faced Matt and Brandon, you know, fresh out of college, and really liked them. And they were like, would you ever want to come work with us? And I said, well, I'm going to have a baby, you know, I'm going to get pregnant right away, you know, and because this was my timeline.
That was your plan.
And Matt was like, okay, well, do you want to still work? And I said, yeah. And they're like, okay, we're cool with that. And that was
it.
That was it. So we started in Matt's
Was it just the three of you then?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Okay.
We literally were in Matt's extra bedroom of his townhome in
Yep.
Lakeville. There was like an armoire. Remember when the desk used to be like armoires? You open them up,
Yes.
and then I was on the floor. Then we moved to the Egan office that was above the
The
Bremer
bank.
Bank.
Bremer
Yeah.
Bank. Yeah. That was our old Egan location.
We did that, and then we went to Highland. We're over there, and the whole team kind of kept growing at that time. Like Heather, now Warner, but Shermack was one of the agents that came on like very early, and she's still around.
Before you guys called yourselves something else before it was the Barker.
We went through a couple incarnations.
Minnesota something.
Or like Homes of Minnesota.
Homes of
for a
Minnesota,
while.
yes.
I know. I have all of our like advertising things.
And at your largest, how many people were on the team?
I can't even tell you.
So when did you take over? Because you were really managing the team the last few years.
Definitely the last few years.
Co-managing.
Yeah. So like, yes.
With Matt, right?
Yeah. Well, Brandon initially, we kind of didn't like to let Matt talk to the agents because he unintentionally would be insulting in the best way. Like I've learned to speak Matt, but a lot of people, like that would come on board didn't,
Sure.
So it would just be like an unintentional insult, and he would just be like, "What?" And we're like, "You can't talk to the agents, like you just can't." I'll give you an example.
Okay.
He had said, so Tara Buck, one of their friends from college, an agent, in her own
also
right.
current
Yeah.
teammate. Yep.
Current teammate. Yes, she's still around, doing great. And so, but she had started, or she was going to start with them, and Matt was so excited. He was like, you're gonna love her. She's great, and she's like you, but like better. Like, what? And Brandon's in the corner, like, no, and I was like, and he's like, no, and it's just digging deeper.
What would you say would differentiate, based on what you know with other real estate teams at RE/MAX Results, what makes Barker Hedges Group and now the Barker Hedges Evolution team different?
I think it's the commitment to the lead systems that they've been developing over the years. They
Dive into that a little bit, because
Well,
a lot of people don't know about.
They were like made Sierra Interactive,
Yeah,
like
Matt and Brandon were.
Yeah, like that was part of their little think tank of people, and
Yep.
that was their deal,
Yep.
And so, it wasn't there was a commitment to not like buy leads from Zillow and support that monster, and it was like, let's develop our own system. Yeah.
But now, as you take over Barker Hedges Evolution
Yes.
team, part of the arrangement is that talk about that Sierra Interactive piece is still part of your team.
Yep, I still own that now and utilize it. So, and we're still working in partnership with Results Mortgage, because we have to have we do the Minnesota First Time Home Buyer. We have a First Time Home Buyer website.
Yep.
That's super popular. And so our leads come in, and, over the years, we've kind of crafted how, okay, first we used to try and meet with them and then get them qualified, and, that kind of thing. It was kind of trial and error for a lot of years, and how we would set up appointments and do things like that. And now it's a pretty fine-tuned system. I mean, they used us as, guinea pigs for like testing these different things.
You were a part of building that system, for
yeah.
sure.
Yes, I didn't utilize it as much, honestly, because I had a pretty extensive referral business on my own.
Yeah.
And within Matt and Brandon and myself, we decided a really long time ago that, 10 years, however long it was, hey, you know what? Between the three of us, because it was kind of them doing their stuff, me doing my stuff, and as we started hiring people to do some of the stuff that I used to do, I used to take pictures. Well, I don't, now we hire professional people to do that.
Yes.
I don't do that. I used to track the files. Okay, well, now we have transaction coordinators and things like that. So I started focusing on, clients and helping them and stuff. And Brandon was really the one who pushed me to get fully licensed, because I was 100% fine just being RSS, I didn't need my picture out there, not that person. I mean, whatever. Not that there's anything wrong with that, but just I was really content to just be behind the scenes because it just let me do what I wanted to do, which was, have clients that I really liked to work with.
Yeah.
I could choose kind of who and who I wanted to work with, and then I could choose when I was working too. And it was really important to me because I just have the one son that I am there for all the things. And so I had told them, look, I'm never going to miss a play. I'm never going to miss a game. I'm never going to miss a field trip. I'm not going to do that. Like, I'm going to schedule my time. And real estate's amazing for that. You can do that.
Absolutely.
You have to time block, because otherwise people can take over your whole lives. But, doing that was important to me.
So it's super exciting that, when you first came to me and told me about the plans to launch the next evolution of the Barker Hedges team.
I mean, we kind of knew that they were going to be, Brandon had kind of shifted over during COVID. When COVID hit, it kind of changed everything.
And he's
right?
just working Sierra.
Yep. And so, I mean, they had sold that, but then he's still a part of it as well. So he's working, management in that area. And, with Matt, he was going to be, his son is graduating this year, and they want to be moving down to Florida and transitioning. So it was kind of like we kind of knew it was coming. We had talked about it, and they were really supportive of, hey, what do you want to do? Do you want to just work with your referrals because, you'd be comfy doing that? Or do you want to take on the whole team concept and still, do the lead system, have other agents? And that took me a while to really decide if I want to do that or not. And ultimately it was my son who was instrumental in that, I have to say.
Riley was the one that said,
he was really good about it. I said, here's the options that I have. Here's what I'm thinking about. I have this opportunity to build something bigger, and be a part of it. And he was like, well, you have to do that. And I was, okay. Because he's kind of a timid, shy kid. He likes to think about stuff and then kind of do things. And so he had said, Mom, people, so many agents call you every single night, and it's true. It's true. I like being around people. I like mentoring. I like training. I like all of that, and we did different things throughout the years. Anytime I went away from that, I didn't have the job satisfaction that I do now. So, part of my personality is being pretty extroverted. I think I'm the extroverted introvert. Isn't that where you need?
It's called an ambivert.
Okay.
Is that a thing? I don't know if that's a real term, but I saw that on Insta one time.
I know that you can be on for a long time, but I do need a little quiet space, after that. But I remember that meme that went around during COVID or wherever it was that was if check on your extroverted friends, they're not okay. I was not okay. I was just not. I got that from 5 different people in one day. And I thought, okay.
They saw that and they thought of you.
Yeah, I had lenders calling, hey, I just thought of you. Are you doing okay? And I was no,
I saw this meme.
I need
Dena.
people. So for me, it never was a thing to want to be on my own. That works for some people because they have their systems and they have their things. But for me, part of my what brings me job satisfaction is sounds super cheesy, but helping others.
Absolutely.
I am so happy. We've had so many agents that have come through the Barker Hedges team and go on to, their own paths. And honestly, no one cheers harder for you than I do, if that's your case, honestly.
Do you plan to change anything or really maintain kind of the legacy of Barker Hedges? What are your goals?
I want to keep the legacy of it.
Good,
I want to, it's tough right now. The first time home buyer market, to where the Sierra system is kind of
geared.
focused.
Yeah, it's really designed around that.
Where we decided to focus.
Yeah.
And I still believe in that. I still believe in that to the very core. You cannot, there's some agents that, after they get a couple sales, they're like, I only want to focus on the high end stuff. And it's that's a mistake. I truly believe it's a mistake. Of course you want to help your clients through the years and they keep growing, but you have to have an influx of new people. And those are the most excited people. They're just, they need the most help. It's most satisfying and finding something for them. And then they move, they move every 3 years. If you buy, okay, yeah, I can find you $1 million house, but you're not moving for 10 years, you're staying put in that house generally. But if I find you your, first house, I'm on 6 or 7 houses with some of my people, from
that's cool
these years. And it's just so fun to be a part of that. So I have a very core belief that we need to keep focused on that, even though right now it's brutal, as you know, to try and get somebody into a first-time home buyer role right now with interest rates and the different programs and the lack of inventory. So, but people are going to figure out, I guess I see the need as still being there. My goal is kind of just set up, our infrastructure and I do want to hire some more agents.
You do? Okay.
I do,
Any newly licensed, more seasoned experience? What's your
probably
preference?
a little bit of both.
Okay.
And I'll explain. So I like somebody that has, over the years, we've kind of had different types of agents that have come through, and we have different programs for each type of agent. Like a brand new agent needs way more attention and help and things like that. And so their split might be a little bit different initially until we can kind of move them up to where they're
for sure.
Yep, they're doing their own thing a little bit.
Are you the one working with the newly licensed, or do you have other team members that do?
No, it's me.
Okay, but you enjoy that.
I do. And and like as we get bigger, then my goal eventually is to have, the senior members of our team, kind of take under their wing
the
newer people. Yeah, but for now, now I have time to do it, and I like doing it. So
yeah,
it'll be me.
Share a story about something, one of the most memorable or rewarding experiences that you've had helping someone find a home.
Oh gosh, it's
just
like
because of
it's honestly, I can't even think of one because there's like the last one I did. You know what I mean? That's what I would remember.
It's all of them.
Because it's all of them.
Yeah.
They each have their own thing, whether it be, people that I bought and, relocation people who I helped come here and who've become friends and, done investment properties together and all, that's my favorite. Or the person that, I helped buy their first home in East Side St. Paul and then a home in Hugo and now a hobby farm. That's my favorite. People that wanted a cabin and, we were able to find that for them however many years later. That's my favorite.
All of
there's
it.
just, everybody has that.
So it sounds like you guys also cover a wide territory.
We do, yes. We do. People are like, what area? And I'm like, the areas, where do you want to be?
So talk about your teammates. Who do you have on the team right now?
So I have Heather Warner now.
Warner,
she used to
formerly
be
Shermack.
Yep. So a lot of people remember that name. She's been around forever. She's like my ride or die right-hand person right now. I could not be doing this without her. She's amazing and one of my dear friends. And then Tara Buck is with us as well. And again, better, Dena 2.0, the better one of me, as Matt put it. But she's still with us. And then I have 2 RSS people right now, Leah Cousins and Mary Adams. So
Awesome.
We're thin down.
Yep.
So I'm ready to probably have a couple more, people. It's not my intention to, take on 20 people right now.
Right. You guys obviously have specialized in first-time home buyers, but you work with everyone. Move up, repeat, investment, hobby. You just named it all.
Yeah.
So, what makes you different? For people who might be hearing you for the first time and getting to know you and considering, should I hire Dena and the Barker Hedges Evolution team?
Yeah.
For my next sale.
I always liked the fact that within a team, you could play to someone's strengths. With Matt and Brandon, it was really evident because the 3 of us are so different. It was like Brandon's very technical, Matt's like, and then, I'm like the, emotional person in the middle kind of thing. And it was surprising to me in a lot of ways because I joke lovingly. I have a high sort of nerd level of people. Like I'm in ITs, like these like corporate people that are just so analytical, and they'd be like, "Oh no, I'd be like, all right, you want to work with Brandon then? He's your guy, for sure." And then I would end up taking him out on something, and they'd be like,
we want you.
yeah, weirdly. And it was so funny to me but then I figured it out. I am also a big fan of therapy, so I do that every week, and that's like a huge thing for me. But kind of working through like, why? I don't get it. Why wouldn't this person, want to be with someone who's super analytical?
So you're probably pretty good at reading people. Yeah.
Well, it turned out to be funny. Brandon used to laugh about it because, it would be like, okay, here's all the statistics, here's all of the, we're going to make an offer on this, this is price per square foot, blah, 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 and here's all the things. And my big close with people was, are you going to be sad if this goes away? For real.
Yeah.
Because like...
You're hitting on the emotional piece.
Well, and a lot of things I figured out, if you're super analytical, sometimes you just need someone to tell you it's okay. That's what they were looking for. Like they already know. They've already made that decision. They already know what they've already analyzed, So just me being on the emotional side, being like, hey, it's okay. Like, would you?
It's going to be okay.
Yeah. Like, would you be really sad if this went away?
Yeah.
And be like, I mean, yeah. Okay. Well, then let's make an offer on it. And then we can get through the other stuff later and all the, analytics of things. But what I liked about our team and still have the capacity to do with myself and Heather and Tara, and like between all of us, it's like if there's a person that is a better fit for someone else's personality, we can maneuver that around a little bit. And I like that, being able to say, all right, you're a fit here. I want you to be comfortable ultimately.
It's very obvious why so many clients choose you and come back to you. So I think it's fabulous. So I'm excited for you.
I am too.
I've really enjoyed watching you grow, and now here you are. Man.
I feel really supported, but like by Remax, I have to say, like you can't beat it. I mean, you just can't. So it's, between Ed and you and like just our marketing and the whole team is just so supportive and has been amazing, and helping me flexing some muscles that I have not had to use, and so it's like, I think I'm doing this the right way, but can you check for me? From people in accounting to like all over the place.
We've got your back.
Yeah. I really feel supported, and I'm excited about being in the Crocus office. That's going to be fun. I mean, we had our independent office for such a long time. And, with the amount of people that we had and things like that, for a while, that was necessary. I'm glad that we did that.
Yeah.
But it's fun to be back, with just a bunch of all over agents too.
I know. Get to see you more often. So
yes,
that's wonderful. I'm so excited for you.
I'm excited too.